morning. I'm Beverly Eicher, and I'm very glad that you have joined us today. I know that we have Lori and Ilda, Kathy, Betsy, Leslie M., Mary Lou, and Catherine. So please be sure that you ask any questions afterwards or email in questions. And I want you to know that this is being recorded so you can have a chance within 7 days to view it again. To my right is Madge. She will be one of our models today. And beside Madge is Anne. Hello. So both models are going to be showing the exercises, which may seem daunting to some of you, but I want you to know that every exercise is doable. And we offer some modifications today. And if you yourself need more personal modifications, then you would contact me individually. All right. So, can osteoporosis be reversed? The answer is yes. I have many cases where osteoporosis has gone to osteopenia, and osteopenia reverses very quickly to normal bone with a adequate exercise. It has to be adequate and progressive, and it has to include the nutritional plan. It also has to include relaxation and stress management. So we do cover all of this today, so stay tuned and we'll move on. Now this looks like fun. It is fun. On the left, you will see our class, the live class, enjoying bone health nutrition, and each member comes in with a dish with the recipe. So when we have a calcium cafe, which is at the beginning of every session, the recipe is sent out to the whole group. But each recipe has been homemade and tried and true and is bona fide healthy for general health as well as bone health. On the right, you'll see some members of the class engaging in different poses. The lady on the left, bending at the hip, is actually doing a wrist exercise, which didn't come out very clearly. But as you can see, we include strength and balance. I'll just let you read that. And I think there's something else that we have to add, and that is an active member of the International Osteoporosis Foundation as well. Here we are. Another fun time. The balls in the background are very much a part of our equipment, and we have different sizes of balls for different reasons. And the large balls in the live class, we sit on them. Some people have them at home, but we also have a medium-sized ball, which is called the play ball, and we use that in every class. So you'll see our models demonstrating uses of the play ball. Osteoporosis, porous bone, that's what it means. Normal bone on the left is porous. If we were solid bone, we would be like the knights in armor wearing 1,500 pounds of armor on us. So the to have all the support it needs from bone, but enough holes in it to make it realistically movable. Now on the right, you'll see that certain walls of the bone have disintegrated, and you'll see big holes, and that has proven to be an osteoporotic bone determined by the World Health Organization to be osteoporosis because it is minus 2.5 or less. That is a research and that is a scientific standard by which the whole world measures the diagnosis of osteoporosis, minus 2.5. Osteopenia is somewhat of normal bone, but just imagine that it's being sliced in half. So it's just a weaker bone all around. But both of these conditions are treatable. The diagnosis is via a bone scan, a DEXA bone scan. And this takes less radiation than a regular x-ray. And as I said before, the bone mineral density is minus 2.5. That is because the World Health Organization decided that that would be the standard by which all bone is measured. So I'm looking at sometimes scores of minus zero point 0.4. Those are very, very fragile bones. If somebody is minus 2.5, they're on the cusp of osteoporosis and osteopenia. It's very easy to change that one. So I'm just telling you that in my left-hand drawer in my office, I have scans of people who've increased their T-score and have become very, very definitely into osteopenia. And that makes them feel much better. And then once you're in osteopenia, the rest is a home run. Okay. Now, this is another anatomical point of the bone. The inside of the bone is spongy. It's called trabecular bone. They have a scan for that. They call it the TBS. And this measures the strength of the bone and some of the microarchitecture, which is on the inside. A T-score is representing what the mineral layer is on outside of each bone, just the edges of the bone. So now we're starting to look at the inner bone because the T-score does not give us the full diagnosis of the status of the bone. So ideally, we would have a trabecular bone scan with the DEXA scan, but these scans are very scarce. In all my years of working with people with osteoporosis, I have only one person who has received a TBS, and she didn't know what to do with the values, and neither did the doctor or the technician. So this has a long way to go. And as far as worrying about the trabecular bone scan, don't. Just stop worrying about it because you will have markers as you go through this class that your strength is improving. You may not have a number to it, but when you feel confident about unloading your trunk with cases of water, cat food, and kitty litter, um, and you can put things in the upper shelf that you couldn't do before, that means you're getting stronger. So we use a lot of anecdotal situations to look at the strength of the bone. So this is in the state of research right now, so stay tuned. I'll let you read this. So if you've had a fracture before, you're likely to get a second fracture. That's what the research shows. One fracture leads to another and another. So having had a fracture is not a good thing. A low BMD, you could have not had ever a perfect bone mineral density number. If you've had a childhood with very little sunshine and very little exercise, and maybe a very stressful childhood, maybe not enough calcium, vitamin D, then you would not have the perfect bone minus 2.0 at age 30. So whatever you come in at to my program, we will build upon it, but you may be building up towards normal bone that you didn't have before. So I hope that's not too confusing. All right. But I do have a lot of people that have had some illness in their childhood and did not develop their bones well. Leading a sedentary lifestyle, that runs across all medical conditions right now. And they say small and thin. I'm not going to dwell on that. It's not definite if you're small and thin that you can have osteoporosis. And smoking and drinking alcohol excessively, we know that for general health reasons. Sodium is bad for bones. And notice that stress is in bold. And jump right over to the bold box because Dr. Merle LeBoeuf, a very, very well-known expert on osteoporosis, had emailed me. Increased cortisol is associated with lower bone density. And she emailed me that because she has my clients in her practice as patients, and she sees the work of osteofitness being very, very effective. So we like to always remember cortisol, which comes from stress, is something we want to look at and learn how to control. There are conditions associated with low bones. If you're building up your bone, some people will have more of a challenge than others. And these are some situations that would probably make you want to exercise longer, a few more months, a few more years, maybe. Maybe have to be more accurate with your diet and maybe check in with me frequently to see how your track is going. I really like to work with people. And when you join this program, you do have a free consult with me to go over how your medical condition could be affecting your bone building. Do you know what sarcopenia is, Anne?
Is that wasting of muscle?
It is. Tell the class.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's a decrease in muscle mass that
That's right.
comes with age if you don't exercise.
That's right. That's our key word today, exercise. So it's a normal, degenerative process with aging, and it's about 2% of your muscle mass. So it's a lot. And this class will prevent that. And I have worked with people who've had cancer, have been on cancer treatments while they're in the class, and they have continued to build bone ever so slightly, but the curve went positive. And so many oncologists have been thrilled with this class. Okay. These are medications associated with low bone density. When I say steroids would be over a long period of time. Some people are on a low dose of steroids for a long time, anticonvulsants, anything for your thyroid, and psychotropic drugs. So these are the type of things that you could meet with me and we could discuss them if it's your particular situation. Okay, anti-resorptive and anabolic. Have you heard of this before, Madge?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, the anti-resorptive, these are the ones that stop the cells that clean away the dead cells um, from doing their job. So the dead cells, because we do have this regeneration of all cells in our body, um, out with the old and in with the new. We're very aware of it in our face. Like, ever had a facial massage, like scraping off the dead skin? Mm-hmm. So that's a very healthy thing for women or everybody, I guess. But the dead skin comes off and the new skin is coming up. It's the same with the bones. The dead bone cells have to be removed, and then there's room for the new cells to come in. But with these very popular anti-resorptives like bisphosphonates, Fosamax, Prolia, and Evenity, which is one of the newest ones, the clearing away does not happen. So it's like the trash builds up, the trash builds up, the trash builds up. And then you have this mass on a scan that looks like you've improved your bone, but it's totally ineffective bone. So sometimes you'll hear of people being on these anti-resorptive drugs and they stand up and they fracture their femur. That is the first side effect that's on the internet about Fosamax, arbitrary fracture of the femur. And that would be because you're loaded with trash cells. Anabolic, those are drugs that actually build new bone cells. And quite often, they're related to the parathyroids, which are 4 little glands around your thyroid. They're smaller than a piece of rice, but they build bone. And there's 4 of them. And it sounds wonderful, doesn't it? So they're the drugs that are very popular. They're Forteo and Timlos. They happen to be quite expensive. So you would have to check in the price if you're ever thinking of that. And also there's side effects to both of those drugs. And we'll go further into that. And that's all I'm going to say about medication. Next. Now we have 2 spines. One's going one way and one's going the other. So you're going to have both brains on alert for this. I'm talking about compression fractures. This is very different from falling off a horse and breaking your back, okay? A compression fracture usually happens because of bad posture. So we're going to look at this person from the right. So this is the front of the vertebra, and this is the back. And on very thin people, you can see those knobs down their spine. And the vertebra is separated from its neighbors by a disc, a gelatinous disc, which has some buoyancy to it. So this person has started to slump forward. It's called the forward lean posture. Can you just lean forward for us and show us? Like if you're working at a computer a lot,
Yeah.
eating a lot. Are you praying?
I'm leaning forward.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I would on the.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay. Madge is on her imaginary computer. So these are postures that we develop because our eyes have to look at something and we forget about our spine. And over years, people who were over some kind of machinery for years develop the forward lean posture. So what's happening is the vertebrae are coming forward instead of being upright. They should be stacked upon each other. But as you can see here, there's two things. The disc is shrinking. You're going to hear things like bone on bone. Then you're going to see mild cracks. It's the beginning of a compression fracture. But the interesting thing is they're silent. All of a sudden, you'll notice that your height is less, and you have developed a forward lean posture. And maybe somebody will say, stand up straight. You can push your shoulders back, but it won't last. The forward lean is hard to get rid of unless you address it specifically. And at this point now, we're going to take a view from the other side. This compression fracture has gone into fracture, just shattering fractured bone. And that is really dangerous because it can spill out and damage your spinal cord and cause paralysis. Now, these fractures are diagnosed with an MRI. A regular exercise, X-ray will not pick up a compression fracture. You're best looking at the forward lean and an MRI for a diagnosis. The allopathic treatment right now is the injection of cement into the cracked bone. And if they can't do that, then they'll put in a balloon, blow it up, and then put the cement into the balloon to support these bones. But what happens is you're still going to have osteoporosis on either side of the cement. It's a condition that's in your spine. You're not going to cure it just by putting cement into one area. And there's also a lot of risks from the cement spilling out and damaging spinal cords, causing weakness and paralysis. So it's not a sure fix, all right? But a lot of people are offered it, and a lot of people do not understand that there is a holistic treatment, and it is what, Madge?
Exercise.
A specific exercise.
Right.
There's specific exercises for the spine and treating this curvature going forward. And in fact, the vertebrae will actually, it's over the other ones. It's like a spondylitis, and you're going to get all kinds of spinal diagnoses on your x-ray that will indicate the spine is not really erect. So we correct that with special services that are here at the Eicher Wellness Center. Oh, what's that, Anne?
It's the neck. Well, it's the hip bone and socket and the
Right.
neck of the femur.
That's right. And is there a fracture there?
It does look like one, yes.
There is.
Big one.
Yeah, that's a serious fracture. And this femur is what bone?
It's the thigh bone.
It is. And articular cartilage, all that means is that it's a smooth covering on the edge of that bone and the edge of that bone, so that when they do rub together, they shouldn't be degenerating the bone, but eventually they do. And there again is that cartilage. So it's really well designed for proper movement. When we treat our hips properly and use them as they were designed, we develop all kinds of problems in this area, not just osteoporosis, but osteoarthritis. And we'll see how many artificial hips are in the United States. Do you know offhand, Madge?
No, I don't, but I'm sure there are a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There are a lot. Okay, thank you. So now we're talking about fall prevention. We're going to jump right up to the ear. And the there's a whole team in our body that is responsible for balance. There's the ear, the eye, joints, and muscles are definitely major players in balance and fall prevention. Footwear, what could you say about footwear, Anne?
Well, it's got to be stable. So with enough space for your feet, you should be able to wriggle your toes. There should be stability in the heel. Good arch support.
Okay, but not flip-flops.
Not flip-flops, certainly not
No.
for exercising.
Oh, no.
Right.
Okay. All right. And can you just name two things, Madge, that would help make our home safer?
No scatter rugs.
Correct.
Nothing, just keep things out of the way. I mean,
The clutter.
Clutter, right.
I'm going to bring up something
And
that's
little dogs.
sensitive to, I was going to say little dogs. Yeah. Madge thinks it's all right to have her little dog running around the house, but he is a high risk, Madge.
I know, but
You know.
I'm very well aware of it now.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't move.
Oh, all right. So you've got to watch out not only for small animals, but for balls. The exercise balls. They should be on a chair if you have one at home.
Cords.
Yeah.
Loose cords.
Yeah.
Definitely. Hydration. That means 6 to 8 ounce glasses of water per day. Mild, lukewarm tea would help, and also very mild diluted fruit juices. And what do you bring to class for your hydration?
Usually water with a little bit of grapefruit juice.
So it gives it a little bit of a treat, right?
Yes.
And what do you drink during yours?
I use flavored balsamic vinegar or flavored vinegar.
So write that down, all right? Could you come into the picture, Anne? There,
Yeah.
okay. So you heard the vinegar, and that's a probiotic. It's very healthy, and we really go into our talks on vinegar in the summertime for electrolyte replacement and fainting. Balance, agility, and coordination, very important. We cover balance in class, and we cover proprioception later on. We cover strengthening later on, but fall prevention is in your hands. We do the balance exercises every single class, and then we enforce daily drills at home. Because if you improve your balance and prevent a fall, you prevent a fracture. That's right. Because people are falling and fracturing with osteoporosis. Dizziness. It's a big problem with a lot of people. Blood pressure medication very often causes dizziness, low blood pressure, dehydration, the use of alcohol or narcotics, anxiety, and not only the colds or the sinus infections, but the medications used for them can cause dizziness. As far as the blood pressure medication goes, you could chat with your physician and see if there's another drug with less of a side effect. Next. Proprioception. Is this something we do in class, Anne?
Well, not quite that move.
Not quite.
No.
Do we come close to it?
We don't stand on our hands.
No, we don't. So I hope you all just took a deep breath and relaxed. So, Anne, we need to see you in the screen. Could you ball move over? Proprioception is being aware of your body and space.
Okay.
So that you could walk through darkened room and still not feel dizzy. You can feel with your feet where you're going in the dark, and you can also put your hands out. But we cannot rely on our eyes for every single moment of the day and night. And it's very important for learning how to parallel park when we're driving. You need to have proprioceptive skills for that. And you have to have proprioceptive skills to put in an earring without a mirror, that you can find the hole, okay? And there's specific exercises that develop proprioception, and we're going to be demonstrating some of them later on. So it's a good word to add to your vocabulary, isn't it, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Hard to pronounce, but
Now, walking backwards is part of proprioception. So this is where we in class practice backward walking to a small degree. We sample a lot of things in class. The only thing that we do completely is strengthening. But there's a lot of that, what we do for balance and fall prevention, that we like you to do daily at home. And walking backwards is one of them. Walking backwards changes the force on your body. Walking backwards changes the force on your body from the muscles. When you're walking backwards, you're totally confusing your brain and you're changing your repetitive walking habits. There are benefits from walking. Fitness, posture, it reduces the impact of your steps. That's important for what? When you're not landing so heavily on your feet. Do you need help?
Yeah.
If you have a sore knee or a sore ankle,
Oh, yeah.
you're reducing the force with each step. So
Mhm.
people who have sore hips, they feel wonderful walking backwards, and it gives the chance to heal while they're still being mobile. Where if you're walking on a painful joint, you're irritating every time you walk.
Right.
So the walking backwards you should keep in your back pocket. It might confuse your dog. Don't take it for your dog walking,
Right.
but you definitely will have that as one of your homeworks. And it also helps with flexibility and it strengthens your joints. And people actually improve their gait. I do a lot of gait training in my private practice, people who need to improve the way they walk. And walking backwards is one of the very effective techniques that we use. It also has a lot of reports on improving cognitive function and your reaction time, which is like your reflexes. Okay, we're going to start now. Madge is going to start with posture by doing the ball on the wall. And Anne is going to show us a posture exercise using a pole. The pole can be an umbrella or it can be a broomstick or it can be a cane. So can you go to that wall, Madge? So we'll have Madge first. She's putting the ball on the wall and she's going to stand up tall and she's going to lean back over it. So now we can see Madge and the ball. So you're making your spine curve around the ball. And you want to do it gently because if you're a person who had forward lean posture, then this is going to be really the opposite for your spine. So you've got to do it gently. So you might just want to come forward a little bit and then go back up again a little taller on the ball. Now, do you feel the change in your posture?
Yes.
Maybe pull your shoulder blades together. And could you put one arm up to see? And then the other arm up. So now this is called the ball on the wall for posture, the posture ball. So Anne, could you step forward and show us an alternative way to improve your posture? Maybe you could take the bat out and show the placement of it. Do the dialogue.
Yes. So the object goes below your shoulder blades, in the crook of your elbow. You should keep your arms close to your body. And then you feel the shoulder blades moving together and you automatically stand more erect.
Is it comfortable to walk like that?
Yes, actually.
Just at 2 steps
Yeah.
in each direction there. So that's a daily practice with an umbrella or a pole by your desk so that you can offset the forward lean. That's key, is to offset. We cannot stop you from leaning forward on the computer. People do that. We cannot stop you from leaning forward if you're having meal with someone that is hard of hearing. You lean in. I mean, we talk about bending at the hip. Show us the hip flexion. So Anna's going to bend at the hip. Madge is going to bend at the hip. So we're not bending in the vertebra. We're not bending in the vertebral column. We're bending at the hip. Point to your hip where you're bending. That's it. That is the big fat hip, okay? It's a huge joint, and we should be using it, not our little baby lumbar spine. You saw the size of the hip on the slide, and you saw the size of the vertebra. So which one would you probably choose? But we don't. We use the vertebral column far too often. Inhale and come up. Okay, very nice. The next one, you may put your props down. The next one we're going to is, would you face the camera, please, Madge? And I'd like you to stand in tandem, one foot in front of the other. And then bring your shoulder blades together. Now, very, very slowly, just turn your head left and right. Now, just standing in tandem quite often is the exercise. You don't want to go too far at first. You want to just take it easy. Focus on your back heel. Focus on your back heel. Focus on your back heel. And imagine the center of gravity going down your spine, your back leg, and your back heel. You can separate your feet a little bit. You can have a wider base. It doesn't have to be an accurate. And then you start breathing and relaxing your shoulders. And now she's turning in the other way. So that would be something that you could do beside your kitchen counter. Thank you, Madge. So Anne is going to show us another way to develop some balance, and that is bouncing the ball on one foot. And Anne likes to hop. She loves to hop on one foot. Would you like to try the other foot? Because sometimes one's harder than the other. She hasn't lost the ball yet. All right. So, Madge, do you want Anne on your team?
Yes.
Yes, we want Anne on our team. Okay, thank you very much. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, so Madge, you're up for retro walking. That's called backwards walking. You'll read about it, and you'll hear about it, but nobody tells you this, how to prepare for backwards walking. The first thing you do is turn around and walk forwards. Now, Madge is going to count the steps till she gets to where she needs to go. Say 8 steps. Now turn around and just look. Is it clear? Is there a dog? Is there a ball? Is there clutter or Legos? No. Now she's ready to walk backwards at the same 10 steps. She's coming into view any minute now. Here she is. She's been walking backwards, and it was much easier, wasn't it?
Yes.
Instead of, I'm just saying, don't do a cold turkey walking backwards. Walk forwards, count it out, then turn around and do the same 10 steps. So the next thing that we're going to be doing for proprioception, thank you, Madge, Anne is going to step forward, and you're going to show us different views. You'll do a front view and a side view. What are you doing?
I'm going to do the side view first. So I'm going to do a back lunge.
Nice.
It's important to have everything facing forward. So no knee out or in, forward.
Very nice. What about a back view?
Oh.
Is this called the back lunge? And we pay attention to the back, like everything facing forward. That's very important. All right. Thank you very much. So what do we have next? Gabrielle likes to show off all our balls. So you may join me. Have a piece of chocolate if you want. When you see the skeletons up like that, then we've gone into exercise. So we're done with that. Now the science. How does exercise build bone? The clearing of the bone that I explained earlier, the trash removal, are the osteoclasts. See, they're scraping away the dead cells. And the osteoblasts are down here. They look like little olives, pimento olives. They're building up new bones. And that is a cycle that goes on in our body. Old out with the old and in with the new. So the signal of the bones being cleared away stimulates osteoblasts to build new bone. And what happens when we age, this process of clearing the trash slows down, increases, and we slow down the building of new bone. When we're young, this is in the lead, building new bone, because children grow all the time. You see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as they get older, they start to have the sloughing of the dead cells. So there's a reversal of the resorption as we age. And what our focus is on is building new bone. And some drugs, as I said, stop that process. The anti-resorptives, they stop the process of trash clearing, so you get a buildup of the trash on your DEXA scan. Okay? I think that's enough. I'd like to point out that we do have take-homes, so a lot of this information will be in a take-home packet. So now we're talking about strengthening. We talk about increasing the muscular force and endurance. The muscular force is how much weight you're using, and endurance means how long can you keep it up. You'll see some people lifting 500 pounds on TV and they do it once. So we don't do that. We do progression. And there's two types of training. One is called strength training, and that's using, there's weight training, which is strength training, and then there's resistance training, which is also strength training. But weight training is using your own body weight. And would you just show us a squat, Anne? Anne has no props. Anne is just going to squat down, and that's weight training. But you'd probably have to do 40 of them. Okay, nice.
Not now, though.
Not now, no. Okay. And then the other one was resistance training. So Madge, why don't you just get up and just show us using a hand weight, a bicep curl. Bicep curl is the most popular strengthening exercise. And it's the one that I don't like. It's my least favorite, but you're going to show us weight training, okay? Resistance training.
Right.
Okay, face your group. Just one arm. So that's using resistance, which is the weight. It could be a kettlebell. It could be a band. Could be a rock. That's fine. Thank you. Okay. Okay. The strength training in osteofitness is targeted to osteoporotic sites. So could you name an osteoporotic site, Anne, and then you can add to it, Madge?
Well, there's the hip,
Yes.
and inside the hip, there's the neck of the femur.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to keep going?
Yeah, and then save some for Madge.
Okay. All right, there's the spine.
And the spine. Okay. Madge?
Your wrist
The wrist, those are osteoporotic sites.
and ankles.
Ankles aren't, but we strengthen ankles so we don't fall. But those are the main osteoporotic sites. And if you've had an artificial hip, they won't x-ray that. They won't scan that. Then you'll get usually a wrist evaluation in its place.
Mm-hmm.
But the exercises are targeted to those spots, all right? The spine, the hip, the neck of the femur, and the wrist. Now, some people lift the same amount of weight year in and year out. I've been to some places where they use 2 or 3 pound weights, and they're in their second and third year. And the instructor just says, if you feel like strengthening today, you may do it. Well, I walk out because that's a sure sign of no bone building whatsoever. The bone will only build when the muscle is extremely fatigued. The muscle has to be so tired from what Madge was doing with the bicep curl that it exerts a force on the bone. And that's what builds the bone cell. We're not talking about the Timlos and the Forteo now. We're talking about how the muscle acts on the bone. And it means that you're extremely tired. Now, you felt that, haven't you, Madge?
Yes.
And don't you do one more?
Try to do at least one.
We try to do 1 or 2 more after you've experienced extreme fatigue. If you overdo it, you could tear something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we work up progressively. You start off at 2 or 3 pounds, and then you go up to we'll talk about what your weight level is in just a minute, okay? And we try to do everything within 24 repetitions. That means that the whole body can be taken care of and all the aspects of fall prevention in 1 hour. So that's the science behind osteofitness, is that I try to work everything in within 55 minutes, okay? So that you get what you need, plus you always get something to take home. This looks like rhubarb, doesn't it? But it's not. These are muscles wrapped in this white connective tissue called fascia, and that's become very popular lately. I started talking about fascia maybe 6 years ago, but it didn't fly. It's a hard thing to describe because we can't see it, of course, but surgeons know all about it and they hate it because it's restrictive. It's actually supportive. It's keeping muscle fibers together, keeping muscles from flopping around, but keeps your organs from falling into your pelvis. What if your heart didn't have fascia? It would hit your diaphragm and your intestines. If they didn't have fascia to hold them up, they'd be in your pelvis. So standing up would be like, I can't even move because all your organs would be down there. So thank heavens we have fascia to hold everything in place. But fascia can get out of hand, and the ideal fascia is working the contours of the muscle. When we disrupt the muscle activity and change it, realign it, the fascia gets twisted. And fascia has neurons, and fascia is painful. So when fascia is twisted, it builds up little balls like adhesions, and they make mobility really, really hard. So one of the things we talk about with treating hydration, treating fascia, is to be hydrated and work the muscles. And sometimes I have to do special fascial treatments in my business as a muscular therapist. I have special techniques for breaking down fascia that won't release. You know about plantar fasciitis too, so I work on that. And isn't this just what you said?
Yes.
Did you mention lumbar spine specifically?
Not separate from total spine.
Okay, so we're going to include lumbar spine with total spine. And of course, as I said, the wrist is arbitrary. If you've had a hip replacement, then they'll do your wrist. Okay? I talk about the benefit of exercise constantly, but we also have to talk about what exercises not to do. Basically, bending of your spine, or called flexion, and twisting are very, very dangerous for your spine. The twisting comes along with golf and tennis. So we'll deal with that some other time. This is in the handout, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very careful in the class to keep adding what we don't do. There's the twisting and twisting. Thank you. Now, these are common exercises. Swimming is the best one. How about that? It's the best exercise because it uses every muscle in the body. But when you do an exaggerated rotation to do your freestyle, that could be a bad twist for your spine. Now, walking is excellent too. Walking should never be discouraged, but it does not build bone. So we can show you later if we remember. Would one of you remember to add the walking lunge? So we know how to take, if you're a regular walker or dog walker, we have ways to make that time spent into building bone and not just, the other benefits, which are essential. But people that are tight for time, they need to double up on some things. So now we have the strengthening. We're coming to the best part of the program. So would you both stand up, please? One of the recipes that we include for strengthening, and every good instructor should do this, is do a warm up. Yeah. We warm up the joint and the muscles, and then we strengthen the muscles, and then we stretch. We have very little time today to show the stretching, but we do it in class. So we're going to start at the top of the body with the shoulder. And I think We have Anne on the left and we have Madge on the right. They're getting their gear on. Please, and I'd like you to do the 10-point crunch up. You can do that with her, Madge. Count it out loud, please.
So I crunch up my shoulders all the way to my ears and hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Move the shoulders back, shoulder blades together, push the shoulders down and open up the palms.
Do it again, please.
Up again, count to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Roll the shoulders back, shoulder blades together, push them down, and then open up.
Thank you. So you can take your cuff off for this warm up. Okay.
Okay.
Now the next thing we're going to warm up is the hip. So Anne, you're going to be showing us, we want to do warm up now. So we're going to warm up for something called the garden gate. Now we're going to do it freestanding, and Madge is going to show us how you could put your fingertips on a support and do it very well that way. Up, out, forward, and down. Up, out. I think we need some music to go with this. They're very well synchronized. Now notice that the trunk does not move, just the hip is moving. So Madge, and you can rest and take the next one, Madge, and rotate your whole body because your hips are tight. There, that's what we don't do. All right, we only show the bad things once. But that's what people do when their hip won't open. They'll try to get their knee back by rotating the trunk. So we have to isolate this to warming up the hip. Very nice. So the next thing is we're going to do the garden gate with a weight on, Anne, and put your weight on, Madge. So we've done a warm up of the shoulder and the hip. We're now starting the strengthening. So Madge is going to demonstrate the side leg lift, and Anne is going to be on the floor doing the side leg lift. So I wanted you to have finger touch control, Madge. So we're going to look at Madge first, and Anne will get down. What is that on the screen? So you get down, Anne, and Madge, I want you to start taking your leg out to the side. No, just a regular side lift. And in. Keep your knee straight. Lift it out and in. Out and in. Don't bend your knee, Madge. So this is called the side leg lift. And you want to try to keep your toe straight. You don't want to turn your toe out because this is going to start strengthening. Just touch your hip and Madge at the top. Just touch your hip where you're working. Oh, there it is. And a little lower. Okay, this is one of the osteoporotic sites. Okay, thank you, Madge. Anne is going to do it lying down. Her whole body represents a clock. Her head is 12 o'clock, her feet are at 6. She's doing the exact same muscle work that Madge did standing, but in this class we offer modifications for people who can't get to the floor. And where is that working in? Here. Same spot. Very nice. So now next, with your cuff on, Madge, show us the garden gate that we did as a warm-up, but with a cuff it becomes a strengthening of the neck of the femur. So now that she has her cuff on, and you start to wear cuffs after your third class. We don't do cuffs right away. So did you feel that, Madge?
Yeah.
Okay. Rest. Now this is called a Christina position. Could you just show us that one, Anne?
How should I?
I'm gonna walk you through it. Put yourself into fetal position. And then the legs are together. One knee is on top of the other. No, no. Okay, that's fetal position. She's forgotten. It's been a while, right, Anne?
Yes.
Now take that top leg that's bent, lift it up, take it way behind you, drop it to the floor. That's the position called Christina. Don't move. Just lift that leg as it is, up and down. So Anne is using the same muscles that Madge did when she was standing with the cuff. We call that Christina. And we do have variations on that, but it's a different feeling, isn't it?
It is.
Because we don't normally do this type of action. But because it's an osteoporotic site, we have to. All right, thank you for that. Now, the next thing we're going to be doing is the total spine. And this would be Madge doing the back row. So get your hand weight in your left hand, and you can put your right hand on the chair, and you're going to be doing the back row standing. So dip at the hip, Madge, and put your right leg back, and now lift the left hand up and down. So I'd like you to use the chair for support, Madge. Maybe bend a little more at the hip. There, that's better. So we do this on each side. This is called the back row. And this is very important for spinal muscles along the vertebra. We do each side separately. Thank you very much. That was good. So the next one for the lumbar spine is called pointer dog. No weight for this, Madge, but you're going to be on the floor, but Madge will be first doing the lumbar spine pointer dog. So you could hold the chair with the right hand and dip at the hip, put the right leg back, and the left arm out. You put the right leg out back. Lift the right leg in the left hand. So this is a contralateral movement. And we hold this for about 30 seconds. And this strengthens a lot of the spine and works very quickly for posture enhancement. All right, thank you, Madge. We're going to do the same exercise on the floor. So it's a contralateral, right leg out, left arm out. That is trying to get her back as flat as possible. Now this becomes annoying after a while, doesn't it, Anne?
Yes.
I mean, you start to say, when is this over? I want to go home. That's the normal feeling, but you have to go to the point of extreme fatigue. Remember that. You have to make those muscles work. And they don't all work at the same time. When you start the pose, just a few muscles engage in holding the pose. But as you hold it, there's a process called recruitment, and that brings out more muscles. So you start to develop strength as you're doing this. And then at some point, you'll feel extreme fatigue. I usually stop this at 30 seconds, like I said, but at home, you could take it up to a minute. All right, Madge and Anne, it's time now to get the tennis ball out and the chair for the frog and the ball. So can you both take a chair now? Side each other. Now, Madge, would you just show us what you've got? Please take your right shoe off, Madge. And I'd like you to show the class what you're holding.
A dryer ball in a knee high.
So you could use a tennis ball, and we're going to use this for stimulating the bottom of your foot. and you're just rolling your foot over the ball. Bring your heel under your knee, otherwise you'll strain your quadriceps. And you'll definitely start relaxing as you do this. It also improves circulation in your feet, and it's excellent on the airplanes. People often take these so that they don't have swollen ankles. They can take their shoes off. Now just show us pumping your heel up and down. Pumping your heel up and down. This is a very good exercise for your ankle and circulation, and a little stretch for the back of your calf. It's a very, very important part of your anatomy because every organ is represented on your foot. So thank you, Madge. Anne is going to show us another method of relaxation. It's also loosening up the hip. So would you like to go through that, Anne? It's called frog on the ball.
So you put your heel on the ball, pull it towards you, go out and forward, towards you, knee out, push away, and then pull it back to you, knee out, push away until your leg is straight, pull it in, knee out, push away until your leg is straight, and just keep doing it.
Now, the more you do this, you shouldn't fight with the ball. It should be relaxing. You try to relax the muscles and let them go. So you've got a full leg weight on the ball. It relaxes you. You'll find that your breathing slows down, and then you'll find that your hips are looser so that after you start walking. Now, if you do the combination of the ball under your foot like Madge did, and then go to the frog on the ball like Anne did, you're going to be getting a better sensation when you walk. You're going to have looser hips, and you'll be more relaxed. So we do have a relaxation video called Self-Care available to you. When you signed up for this class, you will get that free video. And when you sign up for this class, you will have access to an exercise video, which you could use should you not make the Zoom class. Thank you, Anne. And I think that's it. Would you like to come back and join me, please? Okay, I think what we're going to do now is get close to each other again. And as I said before, you will be getting a take home. Gabrielle will have that ready for you. And we also will edit this and then we'll send it out for a week, as I said before. And what else did I say before? Have I repeated myself?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Well, I'll just say this once and take it for granted that when you join this class, you will be committing to a program of exercise and nutrition. All right. Very quickly, the nutrition is 1,200 milligrams of calcium per day, 300 only from supplements. There are side effects if you take your whole quota by supplement. And there's some samples. I think we have a take home on this. Vitamin D3. You live in sunshine every day, Anne?
No.
Not enough, right?
No.
So then we rely on supplements for vitamin D3. They are in some foods, as you can see, but New England, is that why you travel, Max?
Yes.
Look for sunshine? Yeah, okay, that's good. All right. Next. There's more on nutrition. Vitamin K, magnesium are the two strongholds, along with calcium and vitamin D3. All this is in the take home.
Mhm.
Turmeric is new. It's extremely old, but it's become new to this continent, and people are talking about it a lot. It's an anti-inflammatory. It helps bone formation and other great health benefits. And I think curcumin is the active ingredient, and it's best taken with the black pepper option. So just look into that. I think we have that in the take home. So these are very important. These are very important. And These are the beans and the green. You eat a lot of beans and
I do.
lentils. What's your favorite?
Well, I eat chickpeas every day. Make pea soup, lentil soup. Use other legumes too.
How often do you
Sometimes.
make lentil soup each week?
No, not each week.
Oh, okay. It just so happens every time I say, Anne, what are you having for supper? She says lentil soup. It just seems to add up like it's every week.
No.
Madge has a variety of foods. She keeps her diet very diversified. But you're getting in the calcium, right? And vitamin D3.
Pea soup from ham bone.
Pea soup. That's another good one. That's awesome. So I just wanted to mention oxalates. People who have to really beware of oxalates are people with kidney problems, and your doctor will give you a list of things not to eat. But on the whole, if you just take an oxalate, a food with oxalate in it, then just make sure that you take, say, an extra dose. But I think you'll enjoy the handout. We also continue to talk about nutrition constantly in class. So when you sign up for the class, you're going to get more in-depth information about nutrition, ideas and recipes, and you get samples from members of what they're eating and how they're arranging different nutrients. Well, that's for you to read that at home. This is very important. Stress can prevent that wonderful bone building mechanism. You can exercise. You could even be taking Timlosin Forteo and exercising and eating everything. If you're stressed out, go back to Merle Buff. Low levels and constant levels of cortisol will prevent the bone building process, no matter what you're doing. Okay? So it's critical to reduce stress. This isn't the take home. I think socializing is very important. Isolation is becoming a problem these days with some seniors or some widows, and I think that the socialization that we offer in class is very beneficial. And we also try to make our Zooms interactive, don't we? Ann? So you'll be working with
何をかけるの
少しだけ30分、これマイクロウェーブ30秒。
グラスなの ?OK. Yeah, the breathing is, I've found very helpful also.
the breathing for relaxation and head tapping. We do all that in classes. So I want you to sign up because there's more to what you're seeing on the screen today, and the education keeps coming in the classes. Every class, we either review something or I add something new, and you'll get very, very encouraged because you'll see other people in the class doing exactly what you're doing with probably similar challenges. So I don't know if you're a dog lover, you can still look at this, Madge, right? The cat's okay, but definitely it's important to sleep. The best part is that that's when you start to renew your muscles and your cells everywhere, and toxins are cleared, and you recharge your performance. They're still recommending around 8 hours per night. The main thing about sleep and osteoporosis is you have to sleep. And what I'm always encouraging is that you find your natural circadian rhythm. You want to find out how many hours you need per night and go to bed accordingly. Because if you wake up with an alarm, you will be in stress mode all day. You cannot wake up with an alarm and recover from it quickly. Okay? Try to get rid of your alarm. And this is in the take home, I think. This is old news, but they work. You do have to train yourself into a relaxation routine and the cool room, stopping your electronics. There you are, waking up without an alarm clock, and try to repeat it, even if it's your day off. So we've taken you through the frog on the ball. We've taken you through the ball rolling with the tennis ball. So why don't we just, is this our last slide? Okay, let's go. Just read that. Okay. We eat a lot in this program.
Or
We talk
at least
about
talk
We
food a
talk
lot.
about food a lot, yeah. But definitely this is a nice page that should be in your take home. The live classes at 12:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. There's one or two openings if you want to sign up and be in the live class. Otherwise, you would be signing up for Zooms at 11 or 4 Tuesdays and Thursdays. Just a quick graph to show T-scores going up. Happy people. People are always happy in this class,
Get the white guy in the back.
except for Bon Jovi, right? But we take care of him. So we do have classes in Lexington. You'd have to check further on that with Gabrielle. And there we have the walking is not enough, that we have to have the strengthening and the flexibility. You'll learn about lunge walking in the class.
And sidewalk.
So I saw a question from somebody, Catherine. Could you read Catherine's question, please? Catherine, tell us your question again. We've lost it.
Okay, so if we're doing the class with you Tuesday, Thursday for 1 hour each, what's a good schedule for the other days during the week? Is doing bone building exercises every day too much?
Too much.
Too
You'll
much.
tear something. You'll be an invalid. So what you'll do is pick a day on the weekend.
Okay.
Your third one would be a Saturday or a Sunday.
Okay, thank you.
Because listen, Catherine, you do need a day to recuperate. The whole process of strengthening muscle, it causes a scientific tear, right? Rip. And it takes a day for that tear to heal. It's the healing of that tear that builds the strength of the muscle. So you can't interfere with that healing. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Well, if you'd like to sign up today, the class starts on Thursday, January the 9th. And Gabrielle is in today. She can take your registration and your payment. And I want to thank Anne and Madge with their help.
Thank you.
Madge and Anne are actually the official models for the Zoom classes. And we do have maybe 3 other models. So each class that you do, you'll be working with either Anne or Madge and or somebody else. So we try to keep it varied so you have a different experience. Plus, we don't want to wear the models out, right? But would you just give us a note on how you feel stronger?
I do feel stronger. I've noticed this is part strength. I've noticed my posture much better, so I correct it constantly. And I think my balance has improved too, which is also tied to strength.
Thank you. Madge, what have you noticed?
Well, my osteoporosis scores have improved.
Could we clap for that? Two spaces, right?
Yes.
So Madge has improved her T-score in 2 locations.
And my balance is much better. And stamina.
Which means you can walk the dog more. Right.
Yes.
But
he can walk me more, yes.
But Madge has done some incredible traveling that include a lot of exercise, like the Grand Canyon and with grandchildren, and being home for a week and then going off to California. She's just developed like a leapfrog lifestyle with airports and is able to do all that these trips demand of her. She keeps up with everybody. So I think we can attribute that to your strength. All right.
Yeah, the many exercises you can do waiting in line for security check.
So we'll do that during the class. And Anne has become very helpful in her home in terms of doing very hard work in the yard.
Okay.
A lot of waiting, and she comes in, and I can tell that she's been waiting for 4 hours, but she's doing it, and that's the main thing.
Mhm.
And that you feel very confident in going out to your yard
Yeah.
and tackling just about anything. So thank you for joining us, and we hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.